So it will be
First set, Natasha Zvereva to serve.
Zvereva to open this 1995 direct line final.
Love 50. Love 13.
Well, a few of those today would help the cause. Didn't serve very many aces yesterday.
Oh. 15-14. Game Tauziat. First game. Time.
And we'll see if Zvereva here is able to do that.
Natalie Tauziat to serve. Love.
Natasha's certainly taking her time finding her range. They spent so long on court though yesterday, you'd think that they'd come right back out and feel warmed up.
Love.
So she's benefiting from the fact that at the moment Zvereva's timing is a little awry.
Love. 40-15.
Well, at least she connected with this one, Natasha, because one considers that she has the better ground strokes, and yet the way it started off, Tauziat have so far been better.
Being where she needs to be, at the net.
Game is Tauziat. Miss Tauziat leads 2 games to love.
So Tauziat off to a perfect start. And timing the ball well herself at the moment.
Very well.
Ned, second serve. Oh. 15-11.
Zvereva just looking as if she's searching for her game at the moment.
Yes, caught by the quality of that return of serve right on the baseline, and a little slow moving. Understandable after yesterday's exertions. She was out practicing earlier with her coach, Kevin Forbes. So that a rather tired attempt.
It's a good shot.
Good shot.
Tauziat leads 3 games to love.
Just as she did yesterday against Kornikova. A lovely start. And she's playing really beautiful tennis at the moment. A grass court expert who, at the age of 31, is nearing the end of what has been a very interesting career. She has been as high as number 8 in the world. That was last year in November, and currently at number 9. 4 career titles, and famously runner-up last year at the championships. Her first appearance at a Grand Slam final, and she's playing here for the 14th time. The winner in '95 against Rubin, and semi-finalist the following year against Seles. But her opponent today, playing for the 11th time at Eastbourne, and in her second final, a runner-up to Navratilova in 1988, is 28 years of age, 17th in the world, but a former member of the top 10, a long time ago now, though, in singles. One of the great doubles players in the world, who has won 18 Grand Slam doubles titles in women's doubles and 2 mixed. An absolutely marvellous facility to play unexpected shots on any occasion.
Love 15.
And there's one.
Not a bad idea, the drop shot. It bounces just a little bit high, and it was rather given notice that it was coming, but a wonderful run there. Good shot.
Love 13.
Terrific ground strokes Natasha has. So you wouldn't call her the best footworker in the business, but the hands are wonderful. That one goes in too.
Love 14. Fifteen. 30, 40.
Yesterday, Tauziat kept coming up with her best serves against Kornikova when she was down.
Yes, lovely tennis.
Such a relief for somebody to come out into the final hitting the ball as sweetly as Tauziat is now. I mean, she must be just so happy. It gives you the chance to relax and experiment a bit, or just be a little bit more adventurous. Good serving.
Advantage, Miss Tauziat. Okay, Miss Tauziat. Tauziat leads 4 games to love.
Well, that's a bit of a blow for Zvereva. Love 40 she had, remember. But you have to hand it to Tauziat. She took it.
Love 15.
It's very close, that ball. Second look by Zvereva, but you know, sometimes there's not much you can do about it anyway.
Love 13.
Natasha just not focused yet at all. I mean, I think she's having trouble getting her mind back into this match. Free swinging forehand here. She ends always her forehands with a terrific flourish, often right up above her head.
Waiting for a call, but I think perhaps it clipped the line. Certainly that's what the person on that line felt. And I think there's a little mark there just on the edge of the line.
I sympathize with her because the one she hit looked just as good as that one.
Okay, Miss Tauziat. Tauziat leads 5 games to love.
So after just a quarter of an hour, 5-love lead has opened up, and that's the frightening thing about grass. When you're not playing well, the games go away so quickly from you.
Well, without question, Natalie Tauziat has just started off hitting the ball absolutely supremely well. She was on court after all, and in a long match yesterday, winning 8-6 in the third against Kornikova, and coming from 1-5 down. So she is very familiar with the court here, and she played awfully well in that match, except for a spate at the end of the second set and all the way through the first half of the third set, where she went to sleep for a bit and then she recouped. But she was hitting the ball and serving very well yesterday. So it's wonderful if you can just take over, start today from where you left off yesterday. And that's exactly what's happening for her. I mean, Zvereva was bound to be tired today. I mean, she just physically must have been so tired. She probably isn't even stiff yet because it wasn't long enough ago that she finished playing.
15 left.
I haven't seen Tauziat serve as well as this.
So 3 set points have come up as a result of this point, and a most beautifully struck backhand.
Game, first set, Miss Tauziat.
And certainly I think
6 games to love.
one of the quickest sets we've seen here this week, 17 minutes.
Second set.
6-love to Tauziat.
Quiet, please. Net, second serve. Love 15.
Now it's the timing that is awry at the moment. Swung very early to that one. The ball didn't come through as she'd expected it. And she's got a big job to do on herself now. Have to work very hard to pull this round.
Out. 15.
Oh, it's just perfect.
The backhand of Tauziat really the better shot. Look at the contact point there, very solid. Tiny bit of side spin, making the ball go further away.
13.
Serve. Just terrific ground strokes from Natalie Tauziat.
Tauziat. New balls, please. First game, second set.
So 7 games in a row, and that is an intimidating performance from Tauziat, who hasn't put a foot wrong, and it's coinciding with a Zvereva who can't time the ball at all and is clearly feeling the effects of yesterday. Now, what do you do when you find yourself in this position, in Zvereva's position, Virginia?
It's not easy, John. It really isn't, because I mean it's very legitimate that she's tired, and although she finished sometime after 7 o'clock last night, so she would have probably had a massage, and she still would have been keyed up, so it would have been probably quite a late evening. And even if she slept, it's when you've played a 3.5-hour match, you're not even at the stage where your body is stiff. You're just sort of a little limp the next day. Your body is just tired, and that's actually harder to deal with. If you're stiff, you can run it off, but when you're a little bit tired, you just sort of, your body's lethargic. You can't make it move.
To see something from this young lady. But the way Tauziat is playing, as she shows she's serving with the new balls, it will not be easy.
15 left.
Tauziat can do no wrong. She served 3 aces in the first set.
Well, yes. Making light of the wind.
30 left.
Just too good.
One of the times they played each other was way back in 1990, here in the round of 16, and Zvereva won 2 in love then. Just shows you what a difference the days make.
Game is Tauziat. Tauziat leads 2 games to love.
Tauziat, of course, had the benefit of playing last week in Birmingham and got to the final there. That was a very wise move, I think, to get extra play on grass. Lost to a fellow Frenchwoman, Ala de Cougis.
Love 15.
Well, this bond I'm talking about contains 1, 2, 7, 2, 3.
Love 13.
It's actually one of the few balls that Tauziat's missed.
Fifteen, 14. Game is Tauziat.
Well, a very tentative forehand from Zvereva, and it lands long.
Tauziat leads 3 games to love.
And she's never really got to grips with this match yet at all. And unfortunately for her opponent is playing quite beautifully, so there's a terrific job to do.
It's very difficult if you go in and you're not really mentally keyed up for it, or you're thinking, I'm so tired, I'm just going to go out there and hope for the best, and then the opponent is just too good. And you know, she's in this, they haven't played the semi-finals of the double, so I'm thinking Jelena Novotná, who she's playing with, is going to have to be covering an awful lot of court, because she'll have to do a lot of the work in the semi-final, and should they win, they'll then play the final as well, which would be against Hingis and Kornikova, who are already in the final. But you know, there just isn't too much you can do. It's just like one of those situations where you play a long match and you slightly strain something, but you still want to win the match, and the next day you come out and you're limited. I mean, I imagine the person who's most upset about this is Amanda Kutzer, because she had 3 match points against Zvereva, and although she probably ran more on the court, she is so fit that I'm sure she's probably would be feeling all right today.
Net second serve. Net second serve. Love 15.
And I think one person who'll be delighted with this shot from Zvereva is her coach, Kevin Forbes. I was talking to him earlier today. They've been working together now for about a year, and he said that he thought she was recovered.
But even if you speak to somebody like that, you know they're going to say they're feeling all right.
Love 13.
And he said that he was expecting her to play well again, but you know, he also agreed that yes, she is unpredictable. So
15-13.
Takes the time and just puts it right on the target, a couple of inches inside the line. Not a lot to say about that shot, John.
well, now here is a rare thing indeed today, a break point. She came back from love 40 in the 4th game of the match, did Tauziat. Well, that applause will tell you what they think about it here.
Tauziat leads 3 games to 1.
Perhaps that will help Zvereva to find a little bit of her inspiration. That's just too good. Great choice of shot.
A wonderful choice of shot. Looked as if she was going to try for a passing shot. She had to really cover a lot of ground to get there, and gently lifted it.
Nets for serve.
Zvereva, of course, has played many more games in getting to this final. 94 altogether. 22 more than her opponent. Well played. Signs of life here.
40-50.
Well, although she's feeling pretty much down and out, she must also be a little annoyed that she's being crushed like this.
Tauziat leads 3 games to 2.
Well, perhaps this is the beginning of one of those recoveries that she's able to produce most unexpectedly at times. And remember, yesterday, Tauziat had that lead of a set and 3-1, and she lost a string of games. So Zvereva knows that. Perhaps that will inspire her.
I think that she must be very frustrated that she hasn't quite got the energy to pull herself totally together, because she knows she's playing well. She played awfully well yesterday in that match. All through the match, it was such a tight, interesting match, and against Kutsa, and she played so well that she knows it's just there, but she just can't produce it. There's
Time.
no steam left.
It was a good sprint to that one.
Yeah. Well, I think she knew that there was an opening there. Eating a banana. She also played one more round this week than Tauziat did. Tauziat was seeded number 3, so that meant she got a bye in the opening round. Mind you, she played a lot of tennis last week, getting to the final of Edgbaston. But they add up, these extra matches.
Still one break ahead. 3-2.
Good backhand, isn't it? It's not a very orthodox backhand that Tauziat has. But she gets it out in front, and it's almost flat. I mean, so many of the backhands have got extreme slice or extreme topspin. That one's almost flat, just a little bit of top.
A little bit of noise in the crowd there. Ooh, I don't think Andrew Bacon's going to be too pleased with that one. Head groundsman here.
I think the courts are so good they can withstand quite a lot of that.
And the wind certainly playing a part in some of these rallies now. They're having to compensate. Not always apparent watching it on the screen just how windy it is.
Game is Tauziat. Tauziat leads 4 games to 2.
Give you some idea of what they're having to contend with. 2-4.
Love 50. 15-30.
So essential for Zvereva to get dug in here. Not enough first serves are going in today. Well, the muttering continues, but the erratic nature of her game has never been more apparent than it is today.
Tauziat finally missed a shot, but you know, it's not easy to play against somebody who's really offering not very much resistance. So basically, Tauziat's actually held her game together very well. The scary thing is also you never know when they might start playing.
Oh, that's good.
It's just such good sense of position and timing that Zvereva has on that point. Just hits the ball from relatively far back, but she knew what to expect.
Okay, Miss Zvereva. Tauziat leads 4-3.
Well, Virginia, fascinating to speculate whether this is the beginning of a sudden recovery. I mean, she'd played 2 points there, which you couldn't have asked for anything better. And yet it's come on top of a, one has to say, a fairly incompetent performance.
Oh, it's been a total disaster for her, this match so far, because she just wasn't really mentally there. Now, I mean, I think she realizes that time's running out and she actually wants to be there, but she's left it a tall order for her. And I think she's decided that she's got to go for a few big shots. And then she gets frustrated because she missed a serve, a double fault by just a little bit, and another shot by just a little bit. So she actually did quite well to win that. You can see her just when she's sitting on the side of the court. Her breathing has gone down now, but she was breathing much more rapidly than you usually are, and that's just a sign of being tired. I'm always amazed, you know, when how fit these players are, and they can run all over the place, and they're hardly breathing at all heavily.
Four, 3.
It's well played.
15 left.
Holding herself together very well, Tauziat. The serve, excellent. Giving her the easy put away on the overhead.
Well, good idea to change the pattern a little. Started the tennis academy, this young lady, near her home in Bayonne. and spends a little bit of time coaching some younger players when she's at home.
It's so funny because Tauziat just suddenly decided to hit a drop shot, and yeah. Zvereva was already moving forward, so no wonder she was pointing at her head. It's about the stage yesterday that her first serve went off. Having been so good earlier on in this match, she now hasn't made a first serve this game yet.
Oh, but lucky.
40-50.
At the moment, Zvereva is trying to mix it up. Heavy slice, loopy balls, anything to break up the rhythm of Tauziat. Well, that's good match play tactics, but she's not able to keep the ball in court long enough or deep enough.
Tauziat leads 5-3.
Well, it may have looked easy, but the windy conditions make that sort of shot much more difficult than they look.
Yeah, the wind was carrying the ball further overhead, and I think, to be honest, she didn't have the energy to move her feet for that.
3-5.
Love 50.
Natalie Tauziat looking as if she is in just the right sort of form leading up to Wimbledon.
Well, I'm wondering if Lucy Arle, one of our young British players, is watching this, because that's who Tauziat will play in the first round.
Love 13.
Hardly put a foot wrong. That's better.
Well, the sad thing is that Zvereva really knows how to play on grass. She hit some magnificent backhand volleys yesterday.
And I'm also wondering, Virginia, if Kimberly Poe is watching, because that's who Zvereva will play next week, and she will be drawing heart from this performance, but I think she'll be a different proposition next week.
Mm-hmm. Tauziat is in a good section of the draw. She could be doing very well again. It's a good drop shot, but what is really good is the fact that she knows what's coming next. One step ahead.
Okay, Miss Zvereva. Tauziat leads 5-4.
Probably the best service game she's played, finishing it off with that ace. But she's left a recovery rather late.
I know, but I'm sure Tauziat is probably beginning to feel a little bit nervous about serving out this match right here. You know, she's been so much in charge, and she has not had too much opposition, let's face it. and she knows that Zvereva can produce some brilliance if things work out for her. The last game, Tauziat did not serve terribly well. She's going to have a little pressure on her to produce some of the big first serves and do the right thing. So this is actually probably so far in the match, the only really interesting period we're coming to.
Time.
So I think there'll be a lot more applause than that for Zvereva, because they'll try and rouse her from the rooftops and everywhere else.
That was not the same group of people on the rooftop who were saying, "Come on, Anna." That rooftop is empty today. And they were all cheering for Konikova.
A good serve. Shot through.
Good serve.
30 love.
Well, no sign of wavering from Tauziat. 2 points away from a win.
Next, second serve.
Does get annoyed with herself. She was shrieking with frustration yesterday. But frankly, she's hardly put a foot wrong today.
The side where the sun is very difficult just at this time of day.
30 all.
And it's never a mistake to lob when it's as windy as it is.
Most tense point of the match.
Oh, that's tremendous.
And this is just a danger for Natalie Tauziat, because if she gets just the slightest little bit tight and hits the ball a bit short, Natasha has the ability to flash out on a shot like that.
Well, smart work from Tauziat. Coming in, she knew she had to be at the net to force the issue.
She served so well when she's really needed a big serve. It was almost a winning serve, that.
Oh! Predictably unpredictable.
And an excellent first serve.
Advantage Miss Zvereva.
Just a perfect connection. Maybe a little bit dangerous to go to the serve on such a big point.
Well played. In view of the fact that she'd missed a smash earlier in this game, that was a good tactic from Zvereva, but how well she played it.
Very gutsy shot, this.
Advantage, Miss Zvereva.
I mean, she hits that ball so well, that particular swing volley. It's one of the shots she has, but still, if she had missed that, it would have been match point against her.
As it is, a third chance to break. And she's done it.
Five games all.
Well, you never know at this game. And certainly Zvereva producing some of the magic that she supplied yesterday to defeat Kurtzer. That will have taken its toll, that lovely lob.
And the way the wind moved the ball, it pulled it into court, both sideways and lengthwise. Great lob. It was at this sort of stage in Tauziat's match against Kornikova that she got pretty tight yesterday. 4-all in the second set, she lost her serve.
30-15.
Yes, that's beautiful tennis, isn't it? Classic grass court tennis.
But she had to handle some extreme spins. This ball, you saw that in the slow motion, and she gets into position and just angles off the nice, comfortable height volley. Well done.
40-30.
Great serve.
Game is Zvereva. Zvereva leads 6-5.
It's almost as if the sleeping princess has awoken.
Well, I think that that's very much what can happen. You know, she took so long to sort of recover. Maybe the bananas are helping too. You know, when you've played a match that is so long as that one was yesterday, I mean, the next day you're terribly hungry.
And also it takes sometimes a while to run the previous day's efforts out of your legs.
Absolutely. I mean, that's exactly right. And it's sometimes you just can't get yourself going. I mean, you're so hyped up the day before and then you get a little bit flat. It's a tremendous effort for her. And I mean, obviously, if you know she's played as many hours as she has this week, she's in good form.
Actually, if you look at the games, they've played 22 games. Well, that's what, almost 4.5 sets. It's a terrific difference.
It's so funny because Zvereva is sometimes so demonstrative in her facial expressions, and today she's been completely quiet facially. I wonder if she'll show us some excitement if she should win this game. best point of the match so far.
15 all.
All the skills visible here. Grand strokes, the approach shot,
5 please.
all except the volley, which wasn't necessary.
15, 13.
Well, you have to feel a little sorry for her because the crowd quite naturally want to see a third set here.
Well, would you believe it? You'd never have thought that Zvereva would ever get herself into a position to have set points. 2 of them.
Just when you think she's awoken, she plays a fairly simple shot into the net like that.
That serve seemed to really stay very low. I think she put some, Tauziat put some good side spin. Well, Tauziat very lucky there because she played that point rather tentatively. Thank you very much, Natasha.
Again, furious with herself.
Advantage, Miss Zvereva.
Giving Zvereva a third chance. And a very angry Tauziat loses that set. And after just an hour of play, 1 set all. Here's the reaction.
Final set.
I didn't hear in the applause whether Fiona Edwards warned her for racket abuse, but she might well have done. Final set.
15 love.
Well, it looks as if Natalie Tauziat has to try and get that anger out of her system with a few free-flowing shots, even if she misses them.
Well, we thought this was going to be one of the shortest finals on record down here, but certainly now it isn't. Totally different match. Oof. Inspiration.
40-15.
Just blocks this return back, connected with it. Probably shut her eyes and hoped. And you get a big serve.
Game Zvereva. First game, final set.
And for the first time in any set today, Zvereva is ahead. And it certainly didn't look as if that was going to be the case at the start. And of course, for poor Tauziat, one has to remember that yesterday the very same thing happened. And, you know, I don't care what you say, she has to be remembering it.
Tauziat must be absolutely kicking herself to have let this set slip away. And now she isn't playing as well as she was. She played remarkably well, considering that Zvereva was only half there. Because it's like playing somebody who's injured. Somebody hurts themselves, and it seems almost impossible to hit the ball away from them. It seems like they're a magnet to the ball. And it changes the whole complex and the sort of tension that there is usually in a match when somebody is only half functioning. But the biggest problem of all is that if they start to suddenly play, which Natasha has started to play now, you don't know what to expect.
And of course, for the moment, Tauziat has left the court. And one of those breaks that never used to be allowed, but it seems that now we have toilet breaks, and we have changing shirt breaks, and we have
Banana
all
breaks.
sorts of banana breaks. Yeah, Tauziat back now.
Good time for Tauziat to go. I mean, she wasn't gone very long, but
Time.
good a chance for her to try to cool her head somewhat.
And they're always accompanied by one of the court officials, and not allowed, of course, to converse with coaches or anybody else. No coaching allowed during. But curiously enough, when there's a rain break, that is permitted.
So Tauziat serving into the sun again, but she actually serves better this side. I think she has a bit more trouble serving with the wind behind her. Wind sort of sideways. Tauziat knowing that she's got to be aggressive, but possibly just coming in a little bit too often now, because Zvereva beginning to understand the routine.
Fifteen all. Net second serve.
And one of the better rallies we've seen today. Both of them working now very hard. Says she wants to be a chef when she gives up playing tennis. And actually when she's home in Minsk, she spends time, believe it or not, helping at a restaurant. Not yet as a chef though, she says. Oh, well played.
Good point.
One game on.
So that's what she's been consuming, Zvereva. Obviously, no cooking needed there.
I didn't know that she was that keen on cooking. She was always in the dressing room at Wimbledon. She'd be looking at these country life magazines, looking at these beautiful houses and say, "Oh, I love that house, I love that house."
She loves life, does Natasha.
Oh, that's a good shot. A very good point, and you'd think that it would probably be Zvereva who would win these long rallies, but Tauziat comes up with just a lovely backhand pass. Zvereva is still struggling just a little bit when she gets pushed out wide. So still, although much more physically alert, still struggling a little bit for that extra energy.
Net second
Oh, I
set.
think she was a bit lucky there. Yes, the linesman hands down, saying it's bounced on the line. Queried by Tauziat. Being forced into error. Some of the balls are coming through very rapidly, particularly the ones with slice on.
Good point. The return is coming so extremely cross-court, all its direction going sideways, so it's actually quite difficult to turn it around and change the angle to that degree.
Deuce. Advantage, Miss Tauziat.
Chapter of errors here, net chords, odd bounces, and she hung on hoping. She nearly got it over.
Deuce.
Fifth ace. No, not the right time to come in.
Advantage, Miss Tauziat.
You can see she gets late getting in behind that, and the ball, because it's got topspin on, is bouncing a little bit too high. Beautiful pass.
deuce.
Well, we had a few screams yesterday from Tauziat. Finds that the easiest way to release the inner tensions.
Oh, it's
Well played.
such a good shot, the forehand. I didn't think Tauziat was going to even reach it.
Advantage, Miss Zvereva.
Well, a lot of unexpected things have happened today.
Okay, Miss Zvereva. Miss Zvereva leads 2-1.
A very, very important game, that one, because Tauziat had stopped that run of 5 consecutive games. You remember she was 5-3 up in the second set, lost 4 in a row to lose the set, lost the first game of the second, and then held and had 4 break points. Now, if she'd broken there, she might have created another run of momentum, but she didn't.
It's a real challenge for Tauziat now because she knows she's playing a totally different opponent. And you're saying that run of 4 games, but if you think about it, from 3-love in the second set, she's only won 3 games, and Zvereva has won 9 or something like that. So the momentum going very much with the opponent. Just thinking of her when she screams, though, you know, I'm sure it feels good when you scream.
Time.
But if you actually stop to think about it, your blood pressure and your heart rate go up when you scream. So it's something that I think one almost has to resist most of the time if you're really trying to stay calm and not worry about too many things.
Well, she's won the crowd over, has Zvereva, with this magnificent comeback from the brink of defeat. 2 points away from defeat she was.
First serve.
She's been given a first serve. Correction on that call.
Love.
So Zvereva's gone to the chair for something.
Probably a banana.
Change of racket.
Wait, please. Love.
Actually, yesterday when Zvereva played, she broke a string. She won the point when she did it, but you don't often see the women breaking strings. The men break strings all the time. It's good.
30-15.
Usually you call them drop volleys, but I think this one is a good old-fashioned stop volley. Great shot.
And again, the unexpected. Just blocking that ball to the feet. Rather wider than she thought it would come.
Please. 40-30.
Well, it's a golden opportunity there. Not a very good second serve. Mad with herself.
Tauziat doesn't hit her first serve quite as well, with the wind taking her toss further forward.
Deuce.
Well, she missed this return 2
Advantage Miss Zvereva.
points ago, but that one is slightly deeper, and she was a little bit more determined with it. Watch how well she watches the ball. Too
Deuce.
good.
It's a lovely point. Tauziat thinking it was out.
Well, I think this was a case of her desperately wanting it to be called out, because it certainly looked on the replay as if it was plumb on the line.
Oh, that was long, she thinks. When she went to play that ball deep to the baseline, she was waiting for the call.
That absolutely looked as if it was long the point before. It was an anguished cry that she's worked so hard. I mean, she's really upset. Let's have another look at it. It's going to be just over the line, but perhaps it touched one white blade.
Advantage Miss Zvereva. Deuce.
Well, she's found some very good serves when she's been breakpoint down, the last 2 particularly.
These last 2 games, the longest 2 of the match.
Advantage Miss Zvereva.
And the pressure is being applied beautifully by Zvereva now. 4th break point here.
She had 4 break points against her on the previous game. Wonderful effort here by Natasha Zvereva. I mean, she's really focusing. These are very difficult points. They
Zvereva
both
leads 3-1.
are quite tense at this stage.
And for the first time, She leads by a
Thank you.
break
Clap,
in a
please.
set.
Love 15. Net second serve. Love 13.
When it gets tense like this in match, it's tempting to go for some winners, but you have to be so cautious. Certainly love 30.
Yeah, that's good. Better approach here.
15 30.
Driving her opponent way out of court and taking command, coming in far enough to make that a very easy volley.
Another absolutely classic
15,
point.
14.
Good length from all of them. Natasha doing the right thing and being beaten by magnificent passing shot. So, as with the last two games, break points.
30 14.
Good time to serve an ace, 6-1.
Okay, Miss
That's
Tauziat.
great play from Tauziat.
Miss Zvereva leads 3 games to 2.
And it's so often the way that a player who is behind finds the inspiration and the motivation. And the player in front perhaps taking it a little bit easily. There was that third double fault from Zvereva to open that last game and a rather careless backhand error to give her the 30-love lead and the chance to break back.
Terrific effort from Tauziat. I mean, it's pretty much a little bit of a replica of what happened yesterday when she played Kornikova, and she got herself 5-1 down in the third, and she just went through it, went totally off the boil in the middle of the second set. I would imagine it was because she tensed up, and then the wrong thoughts come in and you start playing tentatively. But she said yesterday something about how I just started to play again when I was 5-1 down. Certainly this game she is playing again. Just again, a look at her serve. She flattens out and the serve reaches up. She's been
Time.
coming in behind it quite regularly.
And that's what they're playing for, the trophy which so many of the great players have held aloft. None more than the great Martina Navratilova, 11 times.
Superb effort here by Natasha Zvereva, fighting her way back and looking really determined. It's going to be the quality of her serving that's going to make the difference.
Net second serve.
Good, I think.
Another good quality
15 all.
point. And the passing shot, it's quite hard to get it past Natalie there and make it come back down. Great effort. Good stuff. She could have come in behind that ball right there, but it takes her one more shot before she puts it away.
Finding some
15-14.
returns of serve now that are really doing the damage. The heavy topspin there. And she knows as she smites her passing winner that now she has a great opportunity to forge ahead. 15-40.
Oh.
Game is Zvereva. Zvereva leads 4 games to 2.
So 3 service breaks in a row leaves her ahead 4-2.
Thank you. Quiet, please.
And who would have believed that an hour ago?
Love 15.
The ball seemed to do something different from what she expected. I think she was expecting it maybe to go wide, and then the wind brought it in and slowed it right down. All action now from Zvereva, and look at that pumped fist. It's a great shot from Tauziat right in the middle of the court. It's hard to get around it and find an angle to pass with.
Well, another of those oh so deep backhands. dismaying her. But I don't think there's any question of a bad call there. Just too good.
Well, she's fighting so hard, and you know that she's tired and she wants to just really do what she can, and that was a slightly odd bounce, and nothing is going to be simple in this set.
Okay, Ms. Tauziat. New balls, please. Ms. Zvereva leads 4-3.
Well, that brought out the best again in Tauziat, playing well from behind, forcing the issue with Zvereva, keeping the ball deep and fast. So it's been a very good contest ever since the end of the second set. I mean, in fact, just before the end of the second set, when Zvereva found herself and Tauziat tightened just a little bit, but terrific scrap now.
It really is, and I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, all these matches have been so much of a seesaw effect. 4 consecutive breaks of serve. And the difficulty, I think, is always that this sort of situation happens on this court at Eastbourne, because just out of our left frame, where there's a bit of a gap, the wind comes in, and it actually makes it hard from the side with the wind. If you go for your shots and they work, the payoff is tremendous. So you're tempted to do that, but basically in many ways I think you have to just play a little bit more conservatively from this near end. The other side you can hit out. I mean, you can just go for your shots because the wind's going to keep them in. Great day out here, absolutely magnificent.
Tauziat with the new tennis balls deciding to remain aggressive. That's a good sign. And still the wind blows. Well, that is in the direction of the wind, and you risk it if you go for such a sharp shot. So just beyond that stand, that's where the gap is and where the wind comes blowing in.
30.
See if you can get a good first serve and use the wind coming straight behind you diagonally. It's terrific, but if you miss it, it's so hard to hit really emphatic second serves. Well played.
Yes, you have to keep awake there.
40.
Lovely served, getting a very easy shot, and it's a nice reply.
Exactly the same place that she missed with the forehand, with the backhand just now. The forehand goes out, so those errors are costing her.
Stunning return.
advantage in Zvereva.
Never know what's coming next. And certainly that one has given her the chance now for the break. Magnificent tennis here from Zvereva, who's in charge of this point from the moment she hits a good deep return and finally nails it down the line
5-3.
with the trusty two-hander. And it's given her the break that enables her now to serve for this title. And remembering that she's never won a tournament on grass.
Quiet, please. Thank you.
Just in on the far line.
Well, a lot of the crowd think it's out. Well, make up your mind at home. In, on the line. Good call.
But possibly not bouncing totally true, because where the line is, they sometimes take a bit of an odd hop. And serving has not been an advantage in the last 5 games. All breaks of serve.
And she's demonstrating against the serve, which she thought was a fault.
Thank you. Quiet, please.
It's the second serve, this one. Certainly looked as if it avoided the line.
Academic now, it's 15-all. And an almost despairing backhand that, as Zvereva begins to close in on this title now, something which seemed absolutely impossible to even contemplate. Two match points for Zvereva.
Please. Next, second serve.
She's done it. So right to the end, keeping us guessing. Natasha Zvereva wins her first grass court title at the 11th attempt here at Eastbourne. And ample compensation for that defeat in 1988 in the final when Martina Navratilova beat her. And one can only commiserate with Natalie Tauziat, who had the match seemingly won when she led in that second set by 5-3 and serve void at 5-4. But she only got to within 2 points of the match. And really I think it was a triumph of extreme will to win in the end after a very, very shaky start.
Such a dogged, determined effort by Natasha Zvereva. I mean, I'm so impressed to see her do that, to come back from 9 games to 0 down, which she was at a set and 3-love down, and then to fight her way back, and she applied herself so well. I thought she played a brilliant match when she got into it. So it's just so good to see her with that sort of attitude, none of the messing around that she sometimes does, and just fully determined.
So after an hour and 41 minutes of really determined effort, Zvereva is the new champion. And she's talking now to David Mercer.
Natasha, congratulations. That's an incredible match.
It is beyond any of my expectations, period.
Particularly at love 6, love 3.
Exactly. As you can see, I couldn't really recover, but somehow only by will.
Just how tired were you after that marathon last night?
I was very, very tired this morning. It was hard to get up from the bed.
I know the feeling, I can tell you. So what enabled you to get going and come back and win from that seemingly almost hopeless position?
Well, I think Natalie usually goes for a kill, but I think she gave me one opening, or maybe a couple openings in the second set, for me to come back from love 3 up, love 3 down, and from then on it was just so much adrenaline. I'd never had so much in my life, period.
And you must feel for her, because having been in a winning situation yourself in the past and lost matches you might have won, it's a horrible feeling.
It is so horrible. I definitely feel for Natalie. But, I think this final was a great match overall. We both played our guts out, so...
Well, last year's singles champion went on to win 2 weeks later at Wimbledon. That would be a nice double, wouldn't it?
You're a little too fast for me.
Someone called Jana Novotná won here and then went on to win Wimbledon. It'd be nice to be winning at SW19.
Jana is a natural. I'm just a beginner on grass.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, your champion, Natasha Zvereva.
So waiting for the official party.
Welcome the Direct Line Championship presentation party, Sir Geoffrey Cass, President of the Lawn Tennis Association.
Mr. Ian Chippendale, Direct Line Group Chief Executive. Mr. Ian Hewitt, Chairman of the Tournament Committee. And the Mayor of Eastbourne, Councillor Beryl Healy. And they're accompanied by that great fan and supporter of British tennis, Sir Cliff Richard.
And Sir Cliff doing so much more down here. A very popular figure.
The LTA would like to invite Ian Chippendale of Direct Line to present the prizes. First of all, to the runner-up, Natalie Tauziat.
So a great cheer for Natalie, who's had a marvellous week down here. A great match yesterday against Kornikova, and a cheque for her for £24,000. That'll take away some of the pain.
She receives a hand-carved, gold-engraved Swiss music box supplied by Asprey and Garrod, and a cheque for £24,000. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Direct Line champion for 1999. She receives a large hand-carved, gold-engraved Swiss music box, a cheque for £48,000, and the Direct Line championship trophy. Natasha Zvereva!
And what a week it's been for her. that unbelievable match, 3.5 hours yesterday against Kurtzer, and again the unexpected happening today. £24,000 for the runner-up and £48,000 for her.